Right. So, welcome to our Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing week one of the rescheduled times together. So, we have one more next week. And today we're blessed to have Deborah with us as we go into the second part of the movie, uh, the consultation with Matt and Avalon. And we'll Deborah will open it up after we watch that. So just want to invite everyone to take a breath, a couple of deep breaths, and just come into full presence. To be willing to just let go or pocket what's ever been moving up until this moment. Like calling in our higher self, our wise elder, to enter the space fully present in full knowing of your wholeness and our connection as a collective to that pulse of evolution, that we're here moving in love and gratitude. Let's just start there this evening, just starting with gratitude, bringing our attention to our heart, just giving yourself that inner heart hug, a couple of deep breaths. And just allowing ourselves to fully settle in. Just love for waking up and having the opportunity to experience life from a place of connection and joy and deep service. And just put your hand on your heart. And just as you're doing that, just feeling your feet connected to the earth. Just running that energy down to the center of Mother Earth. Again, with just great gratitude, opening to receiving her wisdom and her love and her nurturing. And the bounty that she's bestowed upon us. And breathing that all up into your heart, to that sacred chamber of love, and allowing our awareness to rise as a budding tree in spring. Just really feeling that energy, feeling our senses, our consciousness, our awareness, and opening to receive the information that's wanting to come through today. And with gratitude, we thank our light-bearing ancestors, masters and lady masters, that evolutionary council of light. We ask if there's any information for the highest good of all that it be brought forward. And just allowing that showering of grace, bringing our attention back down to our heart and feeling all these energies just mixing in within the heart field and that radiating out wherever it needs to go. And in that guidance, we thank Professor Lin Young and all of our feng shui ancestors, bringing that energy into our field. This beautiful web of life. And with just deep gratitude of how our lives are being shifted by this experience last week and this week. And we honor the Akashic record keepers and ask the records be open as we're working today, specifically for grounded traditions. And we hold in the center of our circle Najma and Deborah Cruz. Very gently, just bringing ourselves fully present into the space, just reorienting. Just coming fully present. Welcome, Kate. And we have 9 with us today. So welcome, everyone. We're just going to we thank the ancestors of the land of where each one of you are standing and your watersheds and your mountains. And we're going to just go right into today's call. I'm going to pass it over to Deborah. And today, Kate just joining us, we'll watch the second half together. Hopefully everyone's watched the first half, which was really quite amazing. And we'll watch the second half, and then Deborah will open it up for all of us. So
I'm excited to be here. This is the first time we've done anything like this. This is the new out of the box. I want to thank you all for the red envelopes. Shelley passed the money on, so thank you very much for that, for keeping the energy, honoring the energy, keeping our energy separate, and restoring my energy. Someone last week asked about rods and did I use rods when I did feng shui? And it was a very thought-provoking question. I can't remember which one of you asked that question. But I started thinking about it, and I wanted to say that I think, in my opinion, when you're using the dowsing rods, who is it that's using the dowsing rods? And it's usually you. So I think feng shui is just your body, your wholeness. I mean, I did learn dowsing rods when I studied feng shui from my teachers. But after a while, I learned that it was me, and it was me holding the rods. So to fully answer the question, whoever asked that, my body's my rods, and that's what I feel what's going on. The second thing I wanted to say was that I wanted to make sure that everybody honored deleting the first video that we sent you. When clients ask me if they can record the session, I always absolutely say no. So this was a big difference for me to do this with you, because when we have a lot of copies of something that's happened, it's like we lock it into place, and we want to release them so that they can move forward and not hold that space in past time. So that was part of the deal. So I hope you guys will honor that and delete the first video before you forget. Make yourself a note. And then the last thing I just want to say is, as we're watching it, remember that each one of us is unique, whether we're a snowflake or whatever parable we want to give ourselves, but or metaphor. But this is specifically for these two people and their family and their school. So everyone would be slightly different or really different depending on each person. So this will be interesting for me because I don't ever usually watch myself. So it'll be interesting to see the session and see what I think of it too. So I'm pass the popcorn out, Shelley, and let's start.
All right. Yes. Popcorn. I was just gonna make popcorn before and I didn't seem to have enough time. All right. Let me
And then we're going to answer questions afterwards. So if you have questions, write them down.
Everybody good? All right, good to go forward. All right. Let's just make sure I have this up. Okay, I do. Bigger. So this is 23 minutes, just to let you know.
Can I also?
But
No, I was going to ask. This area of life has always interested me, but it's not something I've been invited to study, I guess, other than in my own interest. So I would love to keep contact if that's possible, and be just maybe even given some direction to places or writings to study, because this is something I would really like to move toward.
You're talking about learning feng shui?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my interest of arranging houses and constantly shifting things and trying to find it, I think there's an underlying interest there for me. So
Yeah.
I used to do that I still do it, but yeah, I do. Okay, now we're going to start, Shelley, right? We're on. Okay. So support. I would really like you to give yourself support. So you have to understand at some level, when you choose to do the things you do in your house or the house you're in or any of it, it's always your choice. And at some level, you're choosing not to give yourself support. And I don't want to get into all the reasons why, because it doesn't really matter. But what I'm really inviting you to do is to choose support. And so by moving your couch against the wall, so what it does is it gives you a little bit of space. So when somebody comes in the door, you have space to look across and see the door and see somebody coming in. You can be prepared. You're not sitting there with it, or they're right there. Boom! I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, and the door's right to your left. I guess it is.
yeah.
So then that leads me to also talking about the table. When you sit at the table, you're going to move the table now to where the couch is. But again, if you're sitting so that you are able to see the door, you're going to be in command. You're going to be in charge. So you both should be choosing the positions that have the most command when you sit at the table, and the children should have the least command. So a lot of times people make mistakes working with people and they have kids that are like taking over the house, and that people feel like their kids have gone out of control. First thing I look to see is, and usually the kids have the command position at the dining room table.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You want to take that. And then I'm not sure how you can solve this problem exactly, but I want to at least present it to you, is ideally you would have a bed against the wall, not under the windows.
Yeah. No, I felt that too. I don't like the window behind my head.
Support. So I don't know if you want to continue doing your giant bed, or you're ready to two beds, a bed in each room, and let the two kids sleep together and use to sleep together. But from a energy standpoint, if you're having the bed against the wall is a huge thing. And the other thing is having the bed off the floor so that the chi comes, because ideally when you sleep, the chi comes around underneath the bed and around this way, so that you have your head against the back of the wall. You have open space underneath the bed, and you have nothing underneath the bed other than air and dust or whatever. And then ultimately it's great to have a headboard, because the headboard again is like a grandfather. It holds you and it holds a chi. So I really like beds. If you're going to get a frame or make a bed, it's where the whole thing's wood, not metal with a board clipped on the front, the back, the headboard just clipped on. It's much better when the bed's all contiguously a bed. And that also pillows in, they don't go down out the back or down the wall. And so anyway, that's just something to think about. So you could put a headboard in, but you're going to block your air if you put something in front of the windows. So that's why it's kind of a catch too. If you were to just go to one bed, then you would put it against the back wall of the house, because then you would have the full support of the wall. So that's that. Okay. Do you have any questions before I move on to the next thing?
You
No.
know, it's all making it's all making a lot of synchronicity and sense.
Ideally, it would be great if you could be creative and come up with a way so you didn't walk in and see the kitchen, boom, right there. The Japanese have like a low curtain that they often hang across. You know, you see those in the Japanese restaurants. They have these beads you can put across. There's lots of different choices, but the idea is that it's not really great to see into the kitchen. The kitchen is where you make your food. It should be more of a private place. That's not.
Yeah, I wanted to put.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to put the Japanese curtains for a long time, just having really beautiful cotton fabric hanging low, so it cuts not only the kitchen but the light is really intense from the kitchen into the living space. So being able to do that, so it's a beautiful inspiration to do that.
Yeah, that would be really nice to do that. Okay, so we have the living room squared away. I think you'll probably sit down and have more of a connection with each other, maybe in the evening or something on the couch, because it is now in the command position. But when you walk down the hall, the energy moves really fast. And that'd be an awesome place to hang a crystal about halfway from the beginning or the end of the living room, whatever you want to call it, to the kids' playroom. Take the hallway, figure out halfway, and hang up a crystal. It should be a crystal. It can be as little as this. It doesn't have to be big.
Okay.
Okay.
Faceted crystal ball, if you can see it. And it needs to be on a 9-inch or 18-inch red string. I usually use embroidery thread, and then use a cup hook and put it into the ceiling. And you ask the crystal to slow the chi down. You could go one size larger, but you don't need to spend the money. And that would slow the chi down because it's moving too fast. In a perfect world, you think of flying in a plane and you look down, you see rivers, they kind of meander. Even Great Mississippi, it still doesn't go whoosh, it meanders. And that's how the energy should move down the hallway. So when you hang the crystal, you want to ask it to slow the chi down and meander down. Right now it's going, it's too fast.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going fast and it's going into the kids' room. And you need to get it into the bedroom because that's where you're all sleeping. So there's a space about this big to the left of the door of the kids' playroom.
Yeah.
You buy something, you can draw something, you can print something out from the computer, but you want something that's moving in the direction of the left. It could be looking that way. It could be a bird flying that way. It could be a sailboat sailing that way. It can be a picture that your kids draw, but it needs to have movement to the left because you're not getting any energy into the bedroom at all. So the bedroom has no air underneath the mattress. Your windows behind it, and you're not getting any energy in there. So it's great that you guys, Shelley's done all the stuff she's done, but from a feng shui standpoint of view, it still could get a lot more chi.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to put a sign out about what you're doing with the name of the school or anything? Is that illegal? Or you just didn't want to, or?
At the time we started this during the lockdowns and the pandemic started, so we were doing this very underground.
Okay.
We were supporting families, so we didn't put anything out to advertise who we were or what we're doing to draw attention at a time where everything was supposed to stop.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So no, we haven't yet, but now we're in a free place to do what we do, so there's no issue there at all.
Okay, well, that might be nice to put a sign out if you feel comfortable doing that. On the house side, the energy is not flowing around the house very well, and you have a door out the kitchen, and then there's like a really narrow walkway there.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, it's like our kitchen, laundry, and walkway.
Yeah, all that stuff needs to go. You can't be storing anything there. It's too narrow.
Yeah. Awesome.
Like a propane gas tank there. You have flour, all kinds of stuff along there. All that needs to be just cleaned out.
Okay.
The other thing that's happening besides the buildings encroaching, and you're going to put the flags up to lift the chi, you also have the two buildings that you have on your property draining your house energy. The carport, I believe, is not the carport, the garage arch shed, whatever you call that. It's not attached to the house, right?
No.
No.
And then you also have a gray metal, it looks like metal anyway, gray structure.
Yeah. It's like a storage
Yeah,
shed.
storage shed, little garden shed they
Yeah.
call them.
So this is Shelley's sketch for me. It's not quite right, but it's close enough. This is the garage. See, that's separate. And then there's a gray thing right here that's separate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over here you have the, I don't know, my friend said chokes. Is that how you guys say it in Australia? Chokes?
Sure.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't have them anymore though. That structure's gonna go.
All the
So-
all the fencing's gone right now. It's only what remains is the chicken coop.
Okay,
That was
so
there.
you want to get the chicken coop out unless you want to turn it into it. I thought it was a jungle gym. I thought it was a wooden jungle gym.
Yeah. We were thinking cubby for Laura, like a cubby house for a kid.
Yeah. Well, anytime you have a structure other than the main house, it's vying for energy chi from the land. So
Okay.
the
Okay.
to do is make the main house be the strongest house, the strongest of your property. This is your property I'm talking about only. So you want to
Yeah.
connect energetically the gray shed and the what do you call it, arch shed?
Yeah.
You want to connect them energetically back to the house.
Okay.
Okay. And so the way you do that, again, an automobile parts place, is you want to go and buy one of those little mirrors.
Yeah.
The kind that has, they're called blind spot mirrors. But they move around, and you need to attach this to your house. You can do the sticky if you put them up high under the eaves so they don't get too wet. If you have them too low, they'll fall down after a while. And it has to be able to see where you put it. You have to be able to see in the mirror when you stand on the grass looking back at the mirror, the sheds. So if you can get both sheds in at the same time, the two, that's ideal. Then you only have to put one mirror up. Do you follow me?
Yeah, okay.
Are you putting it on the, oh, sorry.
So
Blurred.
actually, so you can pick and choose where you add the extra chi to your house. So I would put it, because your house is turned, the back of the shun corner, which is the finance corner, is really your kids' playroom. So I would attach it to the outside of the kids' playroom. And then if you can do that, you'll have to, hold it up before you take the sticky off and make sure you can see it right. It's probably the two of you can do it together. And one of you stand back and go, yeah, I can still see the two sheds. Okay, still see, because that's ideally you want to, you don't have to have a whole bunch of these all over the place. If you end up feeling like chicken coop is a structure, then you're going to have to do that one too. If it ends up being like a play toy or somehow something, a climbing play toy or something, then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Okay, let me go back to my notes here. And then the other main thing is adding color to your house. Inside, you don't have a color, some fun pillows on the sofa. If you don't have a lot of money, hang up kids' artwork, or go buy a big piece of cardboard and, create something you want to see yourself. But there's not a lot of.
You were wanting to paint.
Wanted to paint like a nice colorful bird's eye.
So that would really help a lot by just adding touches of color, like I said, pillows and pictures and flowers, and in different ways you can just add shade.
Yeah, I've always got flowers in the house.
Okay. Well, it might be on the table. I don't have a picture. I don't know. But definitely would want to add more color to the space. And then I'm not trying to add to your list, but if you can do that, I would paint the bedroom that you're all sleeping in a yellow and get rid of the white, and you add earth chi. It's earth chi in the house anyway, so it would really like, the house would like it. And it's really good for you to sleep with earth chi because you guys have sleeping with a lot of metal chi.
Okay.
So that's kind of it. Do you have questions?
No, but it feels good, all of the things that you said.
Is there we have a third bedroom as well?
Yeah.
Is there anything that's come up about that space, or is that room?
Well, it was kind of a pigsty, the pictures. So I just figured that
Yeah.
to get to it and clean it out and organize it. I don't know what your goal is, whether you could want to turn it into a little classroom for indoors for the kids, or make it a bedroom for your kids or something. I don't know what your goal was for that room.
It's supposed to be a space for Avalon to sew and have her, like, she likes to do plants and create medicines from plants and things like that, and dry herbs. So there's supposed to be a room for that for her.
Yeah, one cupboard is, I mean, now it's different from that photo, because when that photo was taken, it was just an absolute dump site. But since then it's been cleaned and organized, and one cupboard is dedicated towards all of my herbs. And then we put in a shelving unit for all of my sewing things. But yeah. It just needs to be kept a bit more tidy, I think.
Well, I think it's up to you guys to do whatever you want to do with it at this point. It's not major interrupting or challenging or disturbing in any way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I feel like you got a ton on your list, and I don't want you to feel any more overwhelmed than you are. You need to prioritize and start to figure out which things you can do first. I would say today, something that you could do right away would be move the couch today before the day is over. So that's something you could do. And and make a sign to have that's going left to get energy into your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So start to pick things off so you can do something every single day. Sometimes what people do is they go, well, the first thing was the gate, and it's going to take me some time to get to the gate, and so nothing happens for a month or something. And I don't want you guys to do that. And so I ask that you guys work out your order of, how you can prioritize and which of you are together, how you can do things. I also would say going to the auto store would be, the next tomorrow's project, let's just say, and get the mirrors to hang up.
Yeah.
So you get yourselves, because the biggest challenge that I have for you is that I can't actually physically do it for you.
No.
Yeah,
that's not. We don't struggle with that motivation. We're very active. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the people, I mean, myself included, there's things sometimes I know I need to do, and for one reason or another, I just kick the can down the road. So it's important that you keep doing something each day and working towards checking off this list.
Yeah, we'll just put a big thing on the fridge and then walk up to it each day and just bump. So it's in our minds constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is, are you clear what each cure is that you bring so that you know why you're doing it and what you're wanting to accomplish?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. What you said has made pretty clear sense. And I've grounded quite well to understand how to bring the energy in, why it's leaving, why it's not moving, and why it's quite low at the moment. So to amplify that, and everything makes a lot of sense with what you said about the mountains being behind, being held by the grandmothers, grandfathers, so that we feel constantly held, and that way we're rested and comfortable, as well as energetically lifted by the space when we move, and to slow things down. Because when things get too quick, you miss. You're sort of missing things as well. So.
Well, and then getting the door so it faces the road is really key.
Yeah. Yeah. I will find the perfect spot to get that mirror. So the mirror, just to clarify that, we want to be able to see the mirror from the street, like from the road. So that way you can see the front door.
I'm going to be standing outside the gate,
Yeah.
look up and see the front door reflected in the mirror.
Yeah, that's what I've got written here.
Yeah. So there's a pillar because there's our front door. So obviously, if you look from the street, it's on the right. You can't see it. There's a landing, which is solid brick steps to a landing. There's a rail that goes across, but then there's a brick return. So the brick structure, it starts about 3 meters from the door, but there's a pillar there that would be perfect because you could still see it from the pillar, and you'll be able to angle it perfectly to capture the door. So I'm just imagining that. Yeah.
Great. So before you go ahead and screw it down, make sure one of you goes out to the street and gives you up that you got it.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. And that will help your finances flow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Beautiful.
All of these things will.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess my work is done here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It was really fun. And I really like to stay in touch. I like to hear how you're doing. And for now, I'm energetically holding you guys. So that's another thing to keep going because it helps me hold you and helps you hold you. Because eventually I like, you guys got to.
Yeah.
Bye. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, great. Shelley, would you like to
Say again?
say anything?
I'm just really grateful. I just feel that this home and school and your lives have really called this forth. So we do want to stay in touch. In fact, I definitely want to have a separate conversation with you. So if we can set up something, that would be great. But next week sometime after you do some of the cures and stuff. But yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just happy for you guys. I'm happy for the children. I'm happy that, yeah, just excited to have Deborah be willing to work with us as a group. And so, yeah, good. Yeah. And also, I mean, she's offered that connection. But if you forget something or you need, like, what, like, you can definitely call me as well, because I've made notes for the whole thing as well. So, yeah.
Just because.
Say again?
Really, rather than check with me.
Good. That's great. I don't need to. That's perfect. Okay.
Because, each person hears something different. Shelley's different person than each one of us is all different. And so even when my teacher taught, it was really funny when my teacher taught the class, and then I would get together with 2 or 3 other people later to go over the notes. We had completely different things written down. Completely. You think we were in a completely different class. Mm-hmm. Fascinating. So I'm not saying that you didn't take great notes, Shelley, because I'm sure you did.
I don't need to do extra. It's fine.
Crossed my mind when Shelley was speaking that as you do each thing, take a moment or more than a moment and just notice the shift, the feel, because it's going to, body is going to keep matching the frequency as you make the shifts.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
great.
you so much. We appreciate your help.
Yeah.
Many blessings. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll send out an email connecting you guys, and talk to you. And yeah, blessings.
Thank you.
Shelley.
Thanks, Shelley.
Just shut it off, right? And
oops, all right. Hold on one second. Let's make sure that that's done. Okay. Oh, Deb, you're on mute.
I don't know if you can feel it, but for me, I can feel the energy all buzzing from our last half hour of the session. And what I love about feng shui is that it empowers us. We can have anything going on in our lives that could be upsetting or disturbing or challenging, and it gives us action steps, things to do. And I think a lot of people like to feel like you can step into your power and do something. And this allows you, feng shui allows you to be able to take action and not sit there and just be like wishing or waiting or hoping or something. And so it was very fun to see the wheels turning on the client and to see them like getting aha moments, even if it's subtle, of how they can actually take steps to shift their own life. So I wanted to share the second half with you. It was interesting to watch, and see while you're still feeling all the movement, if you have questions or if things you want to understand, if we need to put the boggle up to explain it or whatever, I'm here for this.
I do have a question, Deborah. Can you hear me? Okay. In regards to the outbuildings, I don't know if I couldn't hear it right or I missed something, but can you explain that a little more? The outbuildings like sheds and things like that that are on the property, they take away energy from the house, is that right?
Mhm. First of all, they're already challenged because they have that new structure going up on the left, which is already, blocking a lot of the chi. And then the house on the other side that's been there for a while, it's almost the whole length of the yard or the whole side of their yard. It's really, and it's 2 stories. So they're not getting a lot of chi that's crossing back and forth. So they need to get the chi from the land, which is good because most land has positive chi. So when you have the main house, that should be accepting and receiving all the chi. When you start to have outbuildings, which so many people have a shed, have a garage, a lot of time it's not attached, and different things like that, they actually drain the chi away from the house because they're needing chi too. They're needing energy. It's like everybody wanting some energy. So by reattaching, you could pick up the sheds and sit them right next to the house so it becomes one solid thing. But if that wasn't possible, or with them, that the garage art shed is already there and built, so then you want to attach it. There's other ways you could attach. You could attach it by a fence. Let's say, there's different ways you could do it, but the way that I do is with those mirrors because it's really a very easy cure. And the other thing that I like about it, and I don't know if you picked up on it because I was watching it and I was thinking, did I explain that well or not? You can pick and choose where you add the chi to the house. So because their house is turned sideways, the back left-hand corner of their house is really in the right-hand corner of the property. You remember, do you know? Because the front door is on the side. So the boggle gets turned sideways. So the back kids' playroom is really the shun corner, which is the abundance, wealth, receptivity corner.
Oh.
So if you're going to add energy or to your house, why not add it to a space that you kind of need it? And they, in my opinion, really could use some extra chi, extra energy in that particular gua. If you remember going over that, there's a gua for receptivity and allowing us to open up to receive abundance. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was last week. I think you were here last week. I don't know. It's a lot of information. So
You want me to show the bagua or no?
I think it's more of a conceptual thing at this point. It's really understanding that feng shui is about seeing where we're missing guas or energy layers of energy, and then building them up so that we can actually take it in and embody it, because we can only be as high a frequency as we are. And then if we want to raise our frequency, how do we do it? One of the ways is to raise the frequency around us. And then you're like in the field of a higher vibrational frequency, and then your body immediately starts, or very slowly or quickly, depending on your body, matches that frequency. And then you've raised your level of chi.
Wow. Okay, so by putting the So what you were doing is kind of attaching the energy from the shed or the art shed
Mhm.
to the house. So it's
Yeah.
not trying to drain the energy, but it's all sharing. Is that right?
It's not like sharing, it's enhancing it. It's like making it more.
So,
Oh, nice.
so
Thank you.
Deborah, when you come out the door, and facing the shed, are you putting the mirror there so you can see the shed, the two buildings from the mirror? Is that the idea?
It's not about seeing it like there's two different mirrors. There's the mirror that's at the front, and that's because people can't, the front door is sideways.
That makes sense to me, that one, yeah, absolutely.
The other one is because the other structures are draining the chi from the land.
So how do you place the mirror, I guess is the question then.
Well, you can put it anywhere across the back of the house, as long as it reflects when you stand back in the yard and look back at the mirror, the back of the end of the house, and you can see the two structures reflected in there.
All
Then
right, so it could be any angle, whatever come,
yeah, and that's why you get those ones that adjust, because
Yeah.
you want to get the angle just right. That's why you need a two-person job to someone to stand in the yard and say, "Yep, you got it. You can see both sheds." And usually, the higher up you go, like get a ladder out and I like to put under the eaves because it keeps the rain off of it, and it doesn't usually go anywhere or come off from the extra sun. You know, a lot of sun or a lot of moisture, rain. It's up there. So then you can go one step further and say, well, where would I like to have a little bit of extra? Well, maybe someone would rather have, because the house is sideways, the only three guas on the side, and maybe you want to put this bagua upshale in so I can explain it, but the house is sideways. So there's only three choices. There's shun, which is the receptivity corner. There's the one on the side, which is, okay, so
Okay.
where's Shelley? You have to do the little arrow for me. Yes. So put the three, see the mouth of chi on the bottom of the three arrows down there?
Mhm.
That has to be turned sideways because the house is sideways. So you go into the house, go to the far right arrow, Shelley, but it says helpful people travel.
Hold on one
chi.
second. I'm going to do it. Oops. There.
Okay, so you go in, yeah, you go in sideways. So the back of the house is, put your arrow across the back, Shelley. It's those three quads. So I imagine if you choose the furthest left one, which is gun, knowledge, self-cultivation, that you might have trouble getting the two sheds in. I don't know for sure. But they didn't seem like they had so much trouble with that. And they didn't seem like they had a lot of trouble with health and family, particularly. But they seemed like they could use a lot more receptivity and abundance and prosperity. So I would attach the extra energy to that part of the house.
So you'd attach the mirror there under the eaves so that you can see the two sheds.
Yeah.
Got it, thank you.
And then you add, because a lot of people, you probably have sheds in your house, right? You're probably saying to yourself, oh my God, I got sheds that are draining me. And they are. They definitely drain. When I go to someone's home or work with them, because they send me the pictures and the floor plans and stuff, because I work all over the world. Oftentimes that their health issues or some other issue is exactly where they have a shed in that part of the guac, because it's literally siphoning it off the house.
So what, I have like a separate cottage on the property, so that's not like a shed, it's like a separate living. So we need to connect those two then, is that right?
Necessarily, does it have a separate address and everything?
I know it's on the same lot, so it's the same 1-5404. So it's on the same legal property, or doesn't have its own separate address, right?
And do you have somebody else living there?
Yeah.
Then you don't want to attach it because it's like you're inviting them to come live in your house.
No, I don't want that. No. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's already is a problem. So we don't want to do that.
That's one of the reasons that a little information can be dangerous, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking.
Learn something and then, I'll go over to someone's place afterwards and they go, I read about this, I saw this, and look, I did this. And I'm like, oh my God, they kind of went crazy. So it's, that's why I said in the very beginning before we watch this thing, that every one of us is unique and every situation is unique. And you really can't say, oh, they're doing that, I'm going to do that too. Because it may or may not help you. It might even be worse.
Yeah, and I thank you for that, because that distinction between the two is important. Absolutely.
Yeah, you want to be two separate
Yeah,
things. I mean, there's probably things that you need to do to make them really clearly separate, and you want to make sure that you do see that they're separate.
yeah, and that's happened more and more. Like there's a fence now and a gate, and yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Somebody, you have a question? Somebody?
I'm trying to figure out the one for like, the driveway for us is a separate, it comes in on a square, like the property's here, and the driveway comes down at a, say like a 45-degree angle. Then there's trees here, and then the front door is over here. So you would have to put a mirror here down that road to get the front door. Like you can't see the front door from the driveway. So,
And it's your house or there other
my
house?
house, yeah.
It's your house.
So that'll be interesting to try and figure that one out.
Well, also too, I really always invite people to look at why they chose this house, because you chose it. And because someone else could look at that, like I could look at it and go, oh, no way, I'm not living there. That door doesn't face the road, you know? So there's pluses and minuses when people choose a property. It usually has some gifts, like a lot of people that want to be a writer, let's just say, they might
Right.
choose a house where the door's on the side because they want to step away from the world and they want to create their own space.
Right.
Or sometimes people that want to retire do that because they don't want to be in the world, so to speak, anymore. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not necessarily terribly or wrong. It all depends on what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, so you're absolutely like, right, and so thank you for that, because I like sort of my house being a retreat place to regenerate. So not seeing the door from the driveway probably is a good idea.
It could be not. It could be good, could be bad. You don't know. What's Shelley saying? Stop.
Yeah.
Don't talk about.
No, I'm saying you are talking to the master of ceremony who is like madly doing 100 things to get himself out there so that money can flow. So that is not actually the truth. You need to get that really clear. So anyway,
Maybe you want to have a session with me.
Well,
Maybe you would
okay.
like to work this through. But I'm just saying everything isn't always the way you see it. For that particular
Right.
couple, that's why the session was specifically for them. They're wanting to have things happen for them that's not moving forward for them. So
Yeah, and it's a school and it's much different energies. Yeah.
yeah.
So can I just speak to that for a minute, Deb?
Yeah.
I do want to say, again, we can talk ourselves and kind of clarify, but so what Deborah offered the school that we're working on together as a gift, she would do with anybody as a consultation. So just so that you guys know, I sent her everything that I've ever sent you about that house with pictures and all the, all four walls and pictures in each room to the best that I could do with this, and all the information. So maybe it would be good to speak to them about what it would be a consultation, because I think people are interested, what that would, it would look like exactly what we have seen, that 1 hour consultation. But Deb, speak to, what, I mean, I
Yes.
think it's important, speak to what you charge and how that would work. Yeah.
I work with people all over the world, and I most of the time don't leave my living room, so to speak. And so people send me photographs, and I have a little typed up one sheet that I email to people and talks about what pictures I need, and I need a sketch of a floor plan without it to scale. And I need the address so I can Google Earth it. And then I need exactly what's working and not working, which is exactly what I got from Shelley. And then I spend about an hour going over it and then sitting. I just sit, and I usually can pick up on stuff that, there's no such thing as time and space. So I can pick up on things as if I was actually there with Shelley when she was there, but I wasn't. So, and then I get on Zoom or Skype or whatever people want to do, or FaceTime. And then we do exactly what you saw, the consultation. and we go through what needs to be done to address their particular challenges, and only the challenges that they choose to want to talk about. And so I can touch on something, but if someone doesn't want to go in that direction, I don't go. So I'll work on any particular aspects that you want to work on. Sometimes I'll point out that I see something that maybe one of you would want to look at, because I think that's an issue or holding you back. But if you choose not to have that, us go in that direction, I don't push it. And then when we're done, what usually I do is call the person back in about a week or two to see how it's going, whether they have any questions, what's going on. And then depending on how complex it is, I might have another time with them for 15 minutes, a half hour, maybe a whole nother hour. It all depends on what's going on with them. But the first initial time is 2 hours. And then I get red envelopes, and I charge, because it's 2 hours, I charge $252 an hour plus $2 of red envelopes. So what is that? $504, I think that's what it is. Yeah, $504 for the 2 hours in the consultation. And the things that you get with it is you can talk to me as many times as you need to work out questions or misunderstandings or clarity. And then I hold you as you move on till you get some of these things anchored in, so that you don't, it's kind of like a piano that you're pushing uphill. I get it to the top of the hill, it's starting to roll down, and then that's why I suggested them doing a couple things each day to keep the momentum going, so that it's easy to get things done, and they don't wait a big chunk of time before they start to do anything, because that way you anchor it in. That makes sense? Any questions?
I have a couple questions about the house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anybody else? Sorry, before anyone asks me about your session. Okay. I realized just that all of the questions were about it being their home, but it really also is a school. So I was wondering if one, you felt there were things that should change in the sense of it also being a school, interacting with our personal life. And I know the signage is to make it more open and more people being aware. But and then I guess just the main thing is we didn't talk at all about other people coming into their house, the flow of energy, people walking through those kids being there, hosting the whole yard, like just the whole aspect of it also being a school. Did anything come up for you with that?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because I was kind of surprised. So Shelley called me up, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and said, "You want to help the school?" Sure, great. Love to help a school. That sounds great. Love to help kids. And then when I started getting all the information, there was nothing about the school. It was more about their personal issues, which is the school, because they are the school. And so for them, they needed to get their personal issues resolved in order to grow the school. Yes, I envisioned originally, like I would be getting a classroom and an art room, or the backyard would be it. And there's schools around here that do it in my California area, and they have little tables and chairs, and they have, all this little hooks for the kids' coats, and they have all this cubby holes and all this stuff. And it's clearly like, you feel like you're in a school. This wasn't really what they asked for.
I want to speak to that, but I want to just talk to Kate for a minute. Kate, will you explain to them what happened and how it only ended up being one day, like that whole story? Am I making this up? I don't think I'm making it up. No, because it used to be they would have more kids there.
Yeah, they used to run the 4 full days from their house. And then they started expanding. And I think it actually became too much. Well, they also had Carmi as well. So Avalon was stepped back from being one of the mentors, and she was at home with the baby. So I think, having, and I guess there was possibly, at least 10 kids a day. So you add all of their families. And so therefore it was a lot of people coming to the house. and that energy. And I think, and she's, you know, with a new baby, trying to, you know, protect their energy. And so I think that was the sort of the foundation of, hang on, why they started to expand and look for other alternatives to run, where to run other younger years.
Well, it isn't unusual. Like if someone calls me up and says, I had a client who had a men's clothing shop in San Francisco and it wasn't doing well. I think people weren't wearing suits that much to begin with COVID and all that stuff. But I got a really strong, clear direction that I needed to do their house first before I tackled the business, because they personally, it was two people that were running the business and their couple, they needed to have their house shored up energetically before they could venture into fixing the business, quote unquote. And so like I said, if you remember, a couple of times I've repeated it, that if people don't want me to go in that direction, I don't go. I go the direction that people ask me. So it's in feng shui, I was taught that people have to like ring your bell and say that what they want. And so you're not doing them any favors if you start helping them with something that they really aren't ready or willing or wanting to deal with. And I'm not saying they didn't want to deal with the school, but I think what showed up was that they needed to do things within their home, within themselves, to get strong, shored up is the word that keeps coming to my mind. When they do that, they will be stronger and be able to. I don't get the sense that they don't know what they're doing with the school. I get the sense they know exactly what they're doing with the school.
So I would like to speak to that, because to Judy's question, because in the beginning, and it was about the school. But if you remember the very first video and it wasn't fully there, but I explained it to the group. Maybe Judy, you probably weren't there that first once or two times, because what I explained was that what I discovered. So originally it was totally about the school, but when Kate and I went and I did the invocation and the opening, and I listened to what their intentions were, that is where I realized exactly what Deb is talking about. Number one, their intentions were not the same about the school. Number two, there wasn't very much clarity. Number three, there was resistance between them because they both had very strong different ideas. So that's where it became very clear that we had to clear the house first, that the house couldn't even be their expression of the school until the things that we were doing at the time, which was the dowsing with a few nuggets of feng shui. And I even said, we're not going to do the feng shui. We're just going to get the house anchored and clear. And there was so much interference. So that was how that evolved. So I think your question was great. And I'm pretty sure you weren't there that first time or something, but basically that, it became very clear, like Deb said, like Deborah said, it had to be about their home and their home life and get that all straightened out before. And now once that happened.
Sorry, I wasn't saying like anything was
no,
wrong.
Right.
I just had this realization, like, wow, I didn't have that piece. And I realized that I was thinking like, okay, so if there's all these people walking in and out, what maybe would we have done differently feng shui wise? Or maybe she would have recommended like, have a side door that the outside people come in instead of the family, or that I was kind of along those lines. Like if it was more public coming in, would your approach have been different, or different things you might have recommended?
If you remember when we asked, and I only touched on a little bit because I had gotten a lot of stuff from Shelley, but we asked, they didn't say the school this, the school that, the school this. They talked about everything personal.
Yeah.
So which is fine. I have no, it's very important. You can't run or be a leader if you don't have a solid foundation.
Yeah. And then if I could ask, so given that they had this big apartment building being built next door on one side, and then the other side, as you said, that building, the house goes pretty much the whole way. Is there anything that you recommend that that people do when they have that kind of energy encroaching on them? Do you build the fence taller? Do you plant trees? I mean, is there anything feng shui wise that you do
You know,
to?
every single time it's different, so I don't have a. And I really want to, that's one of the reasons I've never written a book. People say I should write a book, but every single, like I work, one of my mainstays is I work in life science properties in like huge parks, like 100-acre parks with maybe 18 structures, and they're all life science companies. And I work in the park, and I work for each building, and I work on, so they have different companies in each building, obviously, and different needs. They're all life science companies, but every building has its own unique problem. So there isn't like, just like we are, I take every single one of us, we're all like snowflakes or whatever. So there isn't, I don't ever want to answer that if you have this, you do that, because it's always a unique situation. And it isn't, feng shui is not a mental thing at all. It's very much of a feeling thing. That's why I said in the beginning, when someone asked me last time, I really got my brain thinking about, did I use any rods or something like that? And then I realized that no, I am the rod. And so it's a really an intuitive thing in many cases, based on 5,000-year-old tradition. I mean, it's not me winging it. It's all the things that I've learned. And so it could be lots of different ways that we could raise the chi. There isn't one answer. You know, I do a lot of work with trees, as you brought that up. I also do a lot of work with rocks and create things with rocks, big rocks, little rocks. So there's lots of different ways that you can have effects and work things through. There isn't a one answer.
Okay, thank you.
Should we take just a 5-minute break?
Are you guys done with me? Should I say goodbye?
I wasn't saying that. I just know that we've gone, we usually give a, quick, if people want it, if they don't, that's fine.
I mean, I sort of thought I'm complete. I don't know. Are you all feel complete with me, or do you need to come back and have more? I think I'm done. I think
I just want to say thank you. And
Yeah.
and a little thing that I did, I didn't do the New Year with you this year, but I did it last year. And what's funny is my wife has Parkinson's, and it's not getting better. And we did something. I had to move a lot of things around so that she could do in the house. And what's interesting is the other day, I was telling her about feng shui, and she will do something. And what I did was I just moved one piece of furniture that always bothered me as I walked into the house. And Shelley has taught me about this. When you walk in the main door, and it was not clear. There was an object there, and I moved the object to the other wall, and everything in the room opened. And I said, it really works. so thank you.
it's called the Chinese art of placement in many cases. And so that's what you did. You shifted one thing and it made the whole placement work.
Yeah, the whole room is, yeah, there was whole different energy. Yeah, so
Yeah, well,
yeah.
good job.
The board, I don't, you might not want to, do you want to say anything about your friend and the possibility coming up possibly? Or not, well, that's better to be.
Not yet, because I haven't even been able to get in touch with her.
Oh,
So
okay, great. Okay, I didn't know. I just,
I want to make sure it's a real deal before we get people charged up.
right.
Well, we can get charged up anyway, no?
I don't know that much to get you charged up yet, but Shelley and I are working on something. We'll put it that way.
Oh, good. Sounds like fun.
The next consortium possibility, possibility. Possibly. But just, I guess what we could do is just hold the possibility in your heart and, for the highest good.
I mean, I can share with you. I don't know if it's going to happen for sure. If you want to have a
I actually think it would be okay with this group because everything kind of stays here, and we ask that everything stays here, and there's nothing written in stone, but the fact that it showed up, remember when it showed up? It showed up. So why don't you share it with them, and then they can hold it we can hold it as a consortium as a possibility.
Mercury went on retrograde on Thursday, and this was happened on Friday. So, but I called on Thursday and talked to a good friend of mine. I have a client that I worked with here for like 5 or 6 years. Then they went to Idaho and bought a house during COVID, and I worked with them for like 3 years, and we've done some amazing things for them. And so I called her up and I said, I know you're really involved in Idaho now, and you've met a lot of cool people. And I said, do you know anybody about any schools that would like some help? Anyway, there's a woman who is created a high school. I think this is all a hearsay. There's like 15 kids in the high school, and it's a small school. And I had said, Shelley, if that was true, I would love to make somehow they're part of the consortium where they actually learn, and we teach them the dowsing and the feng shui, the kids. Whether that's going to come together, I've been playing phone tag with the woman for a little bit, and we haven't touched base yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, so also to work on the place as well. So yeah, possibility, but it would be.
Something amazing will show up if we all want to do something together.
What I do want to say though is that we have one more week with this consortium, and I'm already considering opening the next one. So that would be, given that happens, and because we always, when we came together, what we all received was that there were 3 places that would be worked on. So just, we can talk, we'll be talking more about stuff like that next week when we come together. But yeah, can hold it in your heart as a possibility. Amazing. And we did say there was one in Australia and one in the US, 2 in the US. I can't remember. I don't remember. One in the US and then one other one. So we'll see.
Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. And
yeah.
Thank you, Deborah.
If you would like to have a personal consultation, it would be my joy to do it. I feel like each time people clear their space and do feng shui, they become a little bright light, and the more little bright lights we have all over the world, the better off we are. So
what is your phone number?
415-924-9999.
Right.
Do it one more time.
415-924-9999.
And she lives in California. And I'll send it out. I'll make sure I send it out.
And 9's the most complete number in the universe. That's why my phone number is that number.
Nice. Shelley, you'll send her email address then too when you send it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Love you.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much.
And listen, let me just say that we will be meeting with Avalon. I will be meeting with Avalon again. And also that we'll receive feedback from them about their experience as a whole thing and separately as the dowsing and the feng shui, so that we have, because that's essentially what we started doing this was to really see if, about measurable results and to begin to create credibility. So that's in the works as well. So yeah.
But I don't know how you can completely measure the feng shui if they haven't been able to.
No, not yet. No, we wouldn't. But that's part of, we'll stay with them.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's part of, we want to just keep an eye on what's happening there. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
All right. Mucho love.
Bye.
Now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
So why don't we take a 5-minute break and come back, or 7-minute break? Okay, 7 minutes. Come back. Come back. All right. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to turn it back on. Well, anyway, what I was talking about was how the person's body actually raises to the frequency and starts to, you know, cohere with that energy. And so their life does become better. And what I was saying was that they can tend to forget what it was like beforehand. And they also become way more sensitive to energy. So that's something that is a natural happening when we're working in this field. So I just wanted to say that and just wanted to open it up to each one of you for like 2 minutes or so, and just 2 to 3 minutes, and just anything that's moving from you, anything, any thoughts about our dowsing. We haven't completely finished, so I want to make sure that we have a conversation about that after everyone has a chance to share, so that we can just kind of flush out anything that's moving, or I'm confused, or I don't like, I'm feeling not good about this, or, you know, what, or like what Judy was bringing up, you know, well, what about, she was directing it at feng shui, but it could have been directed at us as a collective as well. So, yeah, so please pass to the person to your right. So I'm going to pass it to Nalasa, who's on my screen.
Like, I have no idea who's to your right. Kate, you're to my right.
Well, you're just going to
you.
pass to someone when
No,
you're
no,
done.
I'm not. What? Yeah, I'm. Oh, all right, whatever. Anyway,
No.
I am a bit tired. I ended up hurting my ankle. Which thank you everyone for the love and healing energy that you guys sent to me. It's been definitely felt. Yeah, I heard it and then traveled all day yesterday, so it's been really nice having a relaxing day, actually being able to keep it up and iced and tend to it as I need to right now. And I'm also quite tired being back in the States. And yeah, I really love feng shui. The more I know about it, I'm like, oh, I do all of this stuff so automatically in my design and work of different things, of just how I interpret and read and like move small spaces, small things in spaces. And literally you can feel the whole house just like become more calm from like switching, even just like the placement of like two things on a counter. And so yeah, it's really lovely. And it was great hearing from her. And yeah, I don't really have any questions or anything about dowsing in the house. I think it's like you say, Shelley, I feel like the two of them almost like need to be done together to get the most impact. Like just clearing the energy of the house, it's then like moving things and really anchoring that in, and making a place really functional and workable for people as well, on like a very physical level, as well as that more subtle energy line of just things feeling balanced and at ease and well supported for like the people that live there. So yeah, thank you. And I don't know anything about where I am currently because I haven't been here yet.
Okay.
As far as rivers and
Welcome
such.
home.
And complete. And Kate, do you want to go next?
Hi, sorry, I've been asking Name's asked me where a water bottle is. You can use mine. Yeah, where is it? I don't know. You'll have to have a look. So I had a little chat with Charlie yesterday, I think. And funnily enough, that morning on my walk, I'd been really reflecting on this experience and being with you all, and also the work that we've been doing with Grounded, and just wanting to thank you all for entrusting me with that work. I sometimes, as I said to Charlie, that you need a little kick up the bum sometimes to do it. And I was like, Shelley, tell me what to do. And she's like, you just do it. You just go, you'll know what to do. And I was like, yes, and that's exactly what happened. And that was really amazing. And I felt that experience was really helped my confidence, and to the point where I actually had another dowsing job last week as well, which I think almost sort of leveled me up for that experience as well. So that was really beautiful. So thank you all for doing that. And then I think on the back of last week, which was so busy, I'm just now exhausted. And so just trying to have some downtime, which is easier said than done. But yeah, and then again, just at that next layer that the feng shui has added to that whole dowsing process has been quite incredible. You can see the more facets, like for instance, you know, the beds on the floor with Matt and Avalon, and how that impacts their sleep and things like that. So it's just you know, what we do, but then those extra bits as well that can really help what Nalasa was saying, the functional, physical, and then yeah, the subtle energies as well, helping a space and house and therefore the people living in it. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to add. But yeah, grateful for Deborah's experience and her expertise and wisdom. Yeah, thank you. Pass it on to Charlie. He's on my right.
Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah. Anybody who's talked to Charlie knows that Charlie just talks and talks and talks. Whether I make any sense is irrelevant. It's in the talking. It's the energy in the talking that really matters. So yeah, it was very for me very interesting. Shelley has taught me a little bit about feng shui before, but I just didn't, I looked at it and said, okay, this is not for me. But this time, as I said, I said, oh, well, this is, we've got an energy problem in the house right now because so much water. We've had so much rain and it's coming in the basement and all of these things. And I can't, I mean, I would love to, I keep telling it to move, but it's not moving. So we at some point we understand we're powerless over nature, uh, but again, with each of you here and each of you doing this, it's really opened my mind to how as Shelley's and talking about the schools and stuff, we really need to work together to bring forward a safe living space for the future generations, which you're bringing to us, Kadam, and that's the key. The children effect, with the school really touched me because these are innocent, beautiful souls that are far wiser than we were when we were children, and bless them. And so I thank all of you for all the work that you do with the children and blessing. And I'm complete. And let's see. Judy's right in front of me. There you go, Judy. It's yours.
So funny because you're all in totally different positions than any of you have said in relation to each other. Hi, everybody. This is so good. This has been so wonderful. I really enjoyed the layering of the feng shui and learning from Deborah. It's been a good grounding for me. Lots of other things going on here at home. So this is wonderful. Yeah, and I do have some things I wanted to talk about with the house when we get to that. Just more kind of maintenance stuff, I guess. Yeah, just
Judy,
gratitude for that.
actually, this is an open space for that. So if you're noticing things that we still need to work on, or like that's
Okay.
important here, yeah, just go for it.
Okay, so a couple things I wrote down was on the geopathic stress, just the awareness, especially with all this building going on next door, that it's going to be, and ley lines and just an awareness that there's someone next door that's digging in the ground. Like there's going to be things that we need to, maybe we can help educate them or give them, focusing on reinforcing the Merkava, kind of doing some regular, maintenance on that. Just being aware that more than anybody else, because they have this big construction next door, that still could be a factor. And to continue supporting an awareness of this guardian, the Deva, because I still feel like it needs some bolstering. She, it, they, and with it feels like they had such a strong connection with the ancestors and those that when we say the song line, I mean, it's truly like the singing, the energy line coming through, and that property really was in the past a flow, and part of a flow that's now been, somewhat blocked through buildings and the construction. But again, it's maintenance of, I feel like it's really important keeping those lines flowing, and that's part of the gift of these conscious people living there. So that just, I guess all of this is an awareness for them that we don't just do it and then boom, it's done forever. It's like as they continue growing and as the school and changes in the neighborhood, that just them having an awareness of how they can really help continue in the expansion. I feel like it's an energy point for the neighborhood. I still just have this little inkling, and you're not supposed to second guess yourself, but I'm, wondering if it's just connected with other energies that I'm dealing with. But when I check in on that entity, it's like so much better, but there's just still this little, so something that still needs to be addressed a little bit. Not 100%, still some, that's that. So, but great gratitude to Kelly for setting up Deborah. That was great. And Susie's right below me with your beautiful backdrop.
Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful to be a part of this group. You all are just so special to me, and you're so talented, and you have so many gifts. And to see, what's been done for this school, between you, Shelley, and Deb, bringing in, the feng shui, is really wonderful. And I'm feeling kind of a little weak and shaky today. I had another food poisoning. I had that happen a few weeks ago down in Phoenix, and now yesterday with some family members who came to visit from Oklahoma. And so I don't know what's going on and why that's happening again, but anyway, I just want to say how much I appreciate all of you, and I'm learning more about the dowsing, and the feng shui. Having that brought in is reminding me of stuff that some of the stuff I learned about years ago of feng shui, and also in India, there's another method that and I forget what they call it. Yes, Vastu. And I've had one of those books for like 20 years now. And one of my friends stayed at this man's ashram who wrote this book. And in fact, I wanted to say, when we did my apartment and when we walked in my front door and there was a wall, you said I needed something, and I have a picture of the saint that is holding a flower that he lit up. He charged with energy and he's facing in that direction.
Hmm.
Use that flower to put on people's heads and heal them. And miracle healings would happen all the time. And I have a sign up above him, miracles happen. So I do have that on the wall when you enter into my doorway. So, and the feng shui today made me wonder about, do I have part of one of those bagwas missing? And do I come in into the child and creativity area? Is that how that works? Because it's on the right side of the apartment. And so that was a question I had.
All right. Talk about that when people are done. Thank you. Who's on your right?
Jackie,
Becky.
Hi, everyone. Um, this whole experience has been different. I haven't really worked with, well, like a group in this kind of setting for quite a while. And as many people, usually for me, it's been like maybe up to 4 people. So 10 was quite a bit. And it's been really, really nice connecting with all of you, each of you, and us together in our hearts. So that has been really, really very interesting and wonderful. I feel like that was like, I don't know if the consortium does this often, but it's very, very cool to work as a collective for the same thing. So that was really, really neat. Never mind the power that comes through, and we all get our own lessons and messages and stuff to contribute for everyone. So, and we're all here for our own, not individually, but like to bring our own stuff, right? For the school, I'm so glad that they are getting lots out of this, and it's really cool seeing how things are changing for them. And yeah, I'm amazed at the fellow next door that's quiet now. I don't know if you could say he's nice, but he's quiet now. So that's a big deal. So you know that the things are working well. There's been lots of like they've said, lots of what do you call it? I don't know.
Indicators.
Yeah.
Indicators. Changes.
Right. And the feng shui, Deborah was super cool. Yeah, I've previously thought that it was like things worked, but rather fluffy, I thought. But yeah, what she does is really cool. And well, I'm in a different place than I was before when I first heard of it, you know, like maybe 30 years ago, right? And I believe it's a very, very good complement to what we're doing. I feel like there is actually one more like modality or something that we could that could be accentuated and to complete this, but I can't think of it right now. It escapes me. So really cool. Thank you for having me in your group.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'll pass this on to Tyson.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's great to have you in the group, Jackie, and to have that awareness about geomancy and seeing it from a different perspective in the group. Thank you, Shelley, for bringing Devorah on. That was absolutely awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Probably will I'll do a session with her. I was pleased that when it came to the school, that really it was the couples, it was Matt and Avalon's relationship that got dealt with. Because to me, that was absolutely key, because that will really help. I feel the school is in transition, that I'm not so sure it will be there for much longer. I get a feeling that there's more work to do with the song line coming through the property, that the ancestors are still not satisfied or been, there needs to be more appreciation and gratitude to the original purpose of what that land was. And so there's a little bit more work to do that, which I think I'll be part of intuitively, and also probably they'll come to their awareness. I think once the new apartment buildings comes up, I think I get the feeling that they're just intuitively that there'll be a move that will happen there. But this is all preparation, like it's like finishing off what needs to happen on that property in order for new, incredibly amazing things to happen, and it could be elsewhere. So I seriously see this as like closing a door and opening a door. So anyway, that's what's coming to me, and I find that very exciting to be part of that, because I think, wow, wouldn't we all have liked to have had a school with that amount of consciousness that we could go to when we were kids? So, and Shelley, I love you playing with the kids. I just start giggling. It brings me so much joy, and how the kids popping on to me is so powerful, and is really part of what we're doing. And to see the kids being part of this and including them is dear to my heart.
Ditto, ditto, ditto.
Awesome. Are you going to pass it back to me?
Yeah, right back to
I got a few things to say.
Okay, good.
All right. So, thank you everyone for just being so transparent, and feel free to email if that transparency would be including things that you would like to see changed, or that we could create better. So, please email me directly, and feel free to be honest, because this is only meant to be getting better and better. So I want to speak to a couple of things that people mentioned, because it's perfect. One of the things that I was feeling is before anyone started to speak was that there's two things that actually haven't been done, depending on checking into the house and what else. One, I just feel like we need to speak more to the subtle energies, and that was what Judy was talking about. It's stuck to a lot of I just feel I don't get so much that the land guardian needs to be boosted. I feel like that's not what's been coming to me. Not that it doesn't need to happen, but I do feel that boost, if you may, would come from us giving more attention to really checking in with the nature spirits and elementals, and making sure, because one of the things that hasn't been done there, I don't know that they've created a space for the fairies and elemental. I think this just needs more upping of that energy. So that was really my consciousness. And also, just in talking about the children, just imagining the work that's being done, how that's affecting the children. Because even though we're focusing on the family, Matt and Avalon and the house, and well, it's all there to support the children, because that is their consciousness. So that is what's happening. Ooh, my ear just did this interesting thing. And one of the things that I've been really aware of is just really checking in with the water elemental, because I don't feel like she's being addressed at all. Even though we have a great ocean, but in terms of the land, there's no water moving on their land. There's a lot of other, like Deb described, lots of metal energy and being in earth chi. but I feel like we need to, as a collective, really tune into that water elemental. Here's something Deb didn't mention, and I'm going to mention it because it did get brought up, about the entity. And then Tyson just brought it up again, and Judy bringing up, well, I don't feel like it's 100%. Well, actually, Deb brought to my attention, she didn't bring it in front of the group, but she said, Shelley, there's something still going on. I can't get what it is. But she said to me, like, I didn't want to say it to them in the consultation, but I just feel like there's something going on still in that, around that entity and energy. So that would be a reconfirmation to what's being shared.
And you still have to do the key line with Avalon, right?
Completely. Right. And that might just take care of that or bring that up. Okay.
Yeah, it just feels a little connected. When we say entity, it makes it seem like this big
No,
bag
it's not.
negative thing.
No,
And
no.
sometimes it's somebody that just there saying, I'm not giving up until you listen to me.
Right. So there's something more, and it may have everything to do with Avalon's key line. And so thank you for reminding me about that. Okay. And so also remembering that what we're doing here is just the creation of a template that we can then take into the, or whoever's going to continue joining us to take into the next school. Because I feel like this is an ongoing thing this year. And my prayer is that thing with Deb does work out. That would be amazing. It needs to be sorted out because there's a lot of different things to focus, to work with. So, and I really got clear, like the next group, I'm going to invite a woman who I work with, who I adore, who's a whole different energy. And she's really fun. She was supposed to be part of this consortium, but she's just at the very last minute decided that it was just the one thing that was topping off because she was opening a business and another business. So she has two businesses, and has taken up much of her time. So that was popped in. And then in terms of the Bagua missing for Susie, so I don't want to be in the way of someone going to see Deb. And my background is nothing like hers, but I do have I do consult in feng shui. I mean, I can do, like I don't charge anything like she charges. So if you feel like you can't get to Deb or you talk to Deb and you can't afford it, she may still do it if you need help. I don't know. But easy enough to look at the Bagua and go like, yeah, so I mean, just as a start, you can send me I might even already have it, but I need a drawing of your house, and I can tell you pretty close to what's missing, but I don't want to get in the way of Deb because I feel like you have access to a master, and don't be afraid to talk to her. I don't know what she would say around, if you don't have the finances for that consultation. So that's none of my business, and you'll have to talk to her. But I would have you talk to her first, but I can just look at it and go like, yeah. I mean, basically you can look at it. Just lay that Bagua on your front door, and you'll know, like if your house has an L, if your house is an L, obviously you have a missing gua. But sometimes you have an extension. So there's a way of looking at that. But I think yours is pretty, isn't your house, Susie, pretty rectangle? I can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, it would be if it came down from the door all the way down to the front wall of the living room. That whole area is missing to the
Okay.
door.
All right. So, well, then it sounds like you know. So, and then one more thing. Oh, okay. So yes, I need to meet with Avalon and do that key line. So Kate, I don't, I'm not asking you, you're exhausted, just remind me or, say something to her. I'll email her because I've got it written down. But the other thing that hasn't happened with that house, and it will change a lot, is there's something that I always do, which when I feel the house is pretty complete, is what I call the field clearing. And it seems like the most simplest thing, but it just changes the energy. It lifts all any of the dust, any of the what hasn't been moved will move with, and it's just a really, simple clearing. And we can do that all next week. We can do it as a collective remotely. But let's just check in. And I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. So what I would like to invite is obviously musing with this experience with Deb, but this is the next week is our last week of getting together. I am going to open up the consortium again for the next, I gotta look at a calendar, but maybe give it a couple of weeks break and then come back. And I mean, this is my love. I love doing this, and it's just magical. And if you have already been in the consortium, then the cost is different. Like, can't remember what I think it's like at least half. So to keep going with us, and many times people do. So but for next week, I would just say this is the last week of your pod partners. So if you haven't met with somebody, just it's up to you to take that responsibility to connect with them and see about calling them. If it's two people, make time a half hour each, up to you. And that includes if you haven't met with me, you can call me. Good luck. No, I'm only joking. um, so I would just invite if you do meet with someone or on your own, if you can't meet with someone, just take 15 minutes or 20 minutes and just tune into the land. Judy's mentioned a few things. I've mentioned a few things. And, actually, there's been numerous people who's mentioned a few things. So just especially take time with the elementals and the nature spirits, talk to the guardian of the land, just get a sense and just take a couple of notes and do whatever you can do as a pod partner. Just we're building the field this week of love and connection. And we can do the field clearing next time we come together. And then we can all check together next week to see how we feel. And sometimes not everything's going to be done. There are layers, so it just might be, and they're working now on the feng shui. So it just might be that, but my sense is the few things that have gotten mentioned, we can work on this week and take time and just call in the consortium when you're doing it, even if you're doing it alone, but just at least take 15, 20 minutes and get a sense of, okay, this is what bring your loving attention to it and just take notes if you hear something that we need to hear. I think that's it. Is that good for everybody? Thank you so much. Just the way everyone said, and I want from the bottom of my heart say to each one of you, like, this has been an incredible experience. And it's, even though been in doing this since 2015, number one, we haven't come together in pretty much 2 years, right? Because of the book. And and I will send out the book where I'll resend that because that's part of the promise of this group. So if you want to start reading that, or and yeah, just thank you so much. Each one of you has been absolutely the perfect voice, expression, vibration to create this, to be a part of this. I think it was like Jackie said, it's this bonding of family and relationship. You'll never not have us. And in the book, we will, you know, make a mention of this group and yeah, and for those who want to get involved with the book or reading the book or having comment, you know, having things to share, that's up to you. Please do. We're open. It will go to well, it's really the first edit again, probably in about 2 weeks. That's my goal if we can pull it off. So at the longest 3 weeks, but 2 weeks. So
Do you have a version you can send out to
Mhm.
everyone?
Yeah, that's what I made myself a note. Yeah, I can. And we would love to have your comments and feel free to say to me, I want to get together with you. This is what I'm experienced, you know, this and just but make really good notes of what catches your eye. All right. I think we can close in 7:05. So here. So
Hey, Shelley, is Deb okay? We haven't seen her in a few weeks, so we just
oh,
hold space
sorry.
for her.
We brought her, yes. So Deb is in Hawaii and actually doing self-nurturing. And I think she comes back today, but she couldn't make it for this call. So
Yes.
she's actually doing really good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So apologies, I should have said something about that. And Najma, actually, I don't know if I can't remember. You do know about her brother passing, and she's been totally involved with that. And she just had to drive today. She was like texting me like this, and I'm just like, just go. You know, she said, I have to get out of here. I'm like, just go. You know, so yeah, so she'll be with us next week.
Bye,
Yes, you
everyone. I got to
partner
jump on
also.
another call.
Okay,
All right.
bye, and we'll close. Judy, do you want to close us?
Sure.
Right.
All right, we'll do this quick. So Nalasa, all right, just come back to that place of center, seeing our circle, our hearts connected, and know that they remain connected as we support each other in between each week. But we close the records. We say thank you, I love you, amen. Close the records for now. We hold the kids of the school and Matt and Avalon and their 2 children in the house, all still being worked on, and you see this matrix of energy supporting and adjusting, and we're asking all of our team, the elementals, everyone in our team to continue the work, raising it to the highest healthy vibration for the house. So sending you all with love and appreciation and much gratitude for Deborah and her gifts as well. Blessings.
Blessings. Oh, Matak Basan. Woohoo! Blessings. See you next week. Love, love, love.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Much love.